What's up you guys, Mindset Mastery here. Today I'm going to share with you 7 lessons from The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. If you're struggling with bad habits and want to replace them with good ones, then keep on watching. The first lesson is that every habit is part of a 3-step process. First, there's a cue, a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. Then, there's the routine, which can be physical, mental, or emotional. Finally, there's a reward, which helps your brain figure out if this particular loop is worth remembering for the future. For example, if your bad habit is playing video games, your cue might be seeing gameplay somewhere, your routine would be actually playing the video game, and your reward would be the dopamine rush you get. Over time, this loop becomes more and more automatic. The cue and reward become intertwined until a powerful sense of anticipation and craving emerges. Eventually, a habit is born. When a habit emerges, the brain no longer works so hard in decision-making. So unless you deliberately fight a habit or find new routines, the pattern will unfold automatically. This is because our brains are constantly looking for ways to save effort. Habits, as much as memory and reason, are at the root of how we behave. We might not remember the experiences that create our habits, but once they are lodged within our brains, they influence how we act, often without our realization. Habits never truly disappear. This is why relapses happen. If you ever find yourself cheating on a diet, it's because a cue triggered your bad habit. Maybe seeing a donut caused you to want to eat it. Then how do we get rid of bad habits? The answer is, we don't. We simply create new routines that overpower those behaviors. And once someone creates a new pattern, going for a jog or ignoring the donuts becomes as automatic as any other habit. More on this in lesson number 4. The second lesson is that cues typically fall into one of 5 categories: time, location, preceding event, emotional state, and other people. Time is probably the most common way to trigger a new habit. Common morning habits are just one example. Waking up in the morning triggers a chain of habits. Go to the bathroom, take a shower, and brush your teeth. You may also notice that you mindlessly repeat certain tasks at different points during the day, such as getting a snack at the same time every afternoon. Time-based cues can also be used to stick with routines over and over again. For instance, every Wednesday I'll write the script for my next video. The day triggers the habit loop and allows me to keep this routine going, even if I'm not feeling it. If you've ever walked into your kitchen, seen a plate of cookies on the counter, and eaten them just because they are there in front of you, then you understand how location can play a role in your behavior. The most effective way to use this cue is to use a new location to build new habits. This gives you a blank slate to work with, and you won't have to overcome any pre-existing triggers. This is why having an office space is effective for getting work done. Preceding events are when your phone buzzes, so you check your text messages, or when the Facebook notification bar lights up and you click on it. A productive way to use this is to stack habits on top of each other. For example, after making a cup of coffee, you can meditate for a few minutes and then get to work. You may have a habit of eating when you feel depressed. Or, you might do some online shopping when you're bored. Although emotions are common cues for our behavior, they're harder to control and use for building good habits. If you want an emotion to trigger a positive habit, you need to be consciously aware of the emotion as you're experiencing it. If you want to increase your emotional awareness, I would recommend meditating. Finally, it's probably no surprise to you that the people you associate with can play a role in your habits and behaviors. The best way to use this cue is to surround yourself with people who have the habits you want to have yourself. If the people around you are successful and productive, you're likely to end up the same way as well. Lesson number 3. Habits are powered by craving. Craving is what makes cues and rewards work. The craving is what powers the habit loop. First, you want to find a simple and obvious cue. Then, you want to clearly define the reward. Habits create neurological cravings. As we associate cues with certain rewards, a subconscious craving emerges in our brain that starts the habit loop spinning. A cue and a reward on their own aren't enough for a new habit to last. Only when your brain starts expecting the reward, craving the endorphins or sense of accomplishment, will it become automatic to lace up your jogging shoes each morning. The cue, in addition to triggering a routine, must also trigger a craving for the reward to come. Let's take a look at brushing your teeth as an example. It's a habit that nearly everyone does. The reason why it's so ingrained into our minds is not because we think about having clean teeth. While cleanliness is the reason we brush our teeth, it's not why we automatically decide to do it every day. Actually, we brush our teeth because toothpaste creates a sensation. We crave that cool tingling, and in return, we equate it with cleanliness. Craving is what drives habits, not the reward, and figuring out how to spark a craving makes creating a new habit easier. The fourth lesson from the book is to change your routine. You can never truly extinguish bad habits. Rather, to change a habit, you must keep the old cue and deliver the old reward, but insert a new routine. Almost any behavior can be transformed if the cue and reward stay the same. The reason why many people fail to break a bad habit is that they don't identify the cue that triggers a certain routine. After you identify the cue, you can then replace the following routine with something more productive. As a personal example, I used to check my phone first thing in the morning whenever I woke up. This caused me to end up wasting 15 to 30 minutes checking junk mail or social media when I should have been getting ready for the day. Instead of putting it on my nightstand, I leave it on my desk so I can't automatically reach for it when I wake up. This ensures that I get up and brush my teeth instead, allowing me to start my day by doing something that will lead into more productive habits. The fifth and probably most important lesson is to choose a keystone habit. Some habits have the power to start a chain reaction and change other habits. In other words, some matter more than others in remaking businesses and lives. These are keystone habits, and they can influence how people work, eat, play, live, spend, and communicate. Keystone habits start a process that transforms everything. Small wins are part of how keystone habits create widespread changes. Once a small win has been accomplished, there's momentum for another small win to be created. This creates a snowball effect, and over time you'll be convinced that bigger accomplishments are within reach. The habits that matter the most are the ones that remake other patterns. For example, my keystone habit was waking up early every morning. This caused me to be more productive, allowing me to create a morning routine full of other good habits. The sixth lesson is to turn willpower into a habit. Willpower is the single most important keystone habit for individual success. This isn't just a skill, it's a muscle that gets tired as it works harder, so there's less power left over for other things. If you want to do something that requires willpower, like going for a run after work, you have to conserve your willpower muscle during the day. If you use it up too early on tedious tasks like writing emails or filling out boring forms, all the strength will be gone by the time you get home. There was an experiment where people were signed up for a money management program. The participants had to deny themselves of luxuries and keep detailed logs of everything they bought. Their finances improved as they progressed through the program, but there were also side effects. They smoked fewer cigarettes, drank less alcohol, ate less junk food, and were more productive at work. As people strengthened their willpower muscles in one part of their lives, that strength spilled over into what they ate or how hard they worked. Once willpower becomes stronger, it touches every aspect of your life. This is why signing up kids for piano lessons or sports are so important. It has nothing to do with creating a good musician or a football star. When you learn to force yourself to practice for an hour or run 15 laps, you train your willpower muscle to allow you to focus on other important things. Willpower becomes a habit by choosing a certain behavior ahead of time and then following that routine when an inflection point arrives. When it comes time to making a decision on working on your business or watching TV, you'll have the willpower to choose work. When people are asked to do something that takes self-control, it's much less taxing if they think they are doing it for personal reasons, like it's a choice or something they enjoy because it helps someone else. If they feel like they have no choice and that they're just following orders, then their willpower muscles get tired much faster. If you're still struggling to change your habits, then it's important to note that habits are easier to change with other people. When people join groups where change seems possible, such as Alcoholics Anonymous, the potential for that change to occur becomes more real. Belief is easier when it occurs within a community. If we keep the same cue and the same reward, a new routine can be inserted. But that's not enough. For a habit to stay changed, people must believe change is possible. And most often, that belief only emerges with the help of a group. So if you want to change a habit, your odds for success go up dramatically when you commit to changing as part of a group. When you can actually see and visualize your habit being broken, it'll be much easier for you to believe that you can do it too. If it works for someone else, it can work for you.